What's up, guys? Black Hazard here with the Games Revolution, and basically this is gonna be a live commentary, well, not live, but a one-take commentary about why I think Dirty Bomb could never be competitive or have a competitive scene as big as CS:GO, or like somewhat serious competitive scene. And again, I said this is a live recording or one-take recording, so if I stutter or take a long ass pause, I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry about cursing. I'm gonna end up cursing a lot in this video, I think. That's just the type of person I am, so let's get into it. Basically, number one reason why I think Dirty Bomb cannot be as competitive as CS:GO, or develop a competitive scene for itself, or like a decent sized one, or a professional one, is because it has respawns, which might not seem like a big deal, but at the same time, when you really think about it, it really is a big deal. It affects the fact that the viewer experience and like how intense a game is. So an example of this is you could have a 1v1 fight, or you could have an intense gunfight or match, whatever. He could be jumping around, it could be 360, it could be all that awesome stuff, but at the end of the day, that gunfight is not gonna matter the longer the match goes on. So if you had that gunfight in like the beginning of the match, but then the match itself it's like 30 minutes long, it's really not gonna mean anything in the long run of the match or the game. And the longer it goes on, the more kills you get, the less that gunfight actually matter. When it comes to CS:GO, when you die, you're dead and you cannot respawn. So every single gunfight, every single engagement counts towards something, and it's always intense. Every single call out you make matters. It has to be on point, and you have to really be in position perfectly to avoid getting killed. Or if you are gonna take some shots or do some damage to somebody, you really have to really hit them for a decent amount, or be able to hit and go into cover right away, because you're dead. And Dirty Bomb dead really doesn't matter, because you could start spraying people whenever you want, because when you're dead, you're gonna respawn in most cases with like at least 2 other people, because it's a spawn wave, and then you can get to the same position as you were before the other team could get to that position, and you go hold it down like you didn't just die. So it doesn't really matter. So for example, if you're playing I don't know, Terminal, and you're trying to prevent them from, I think it's called Terminal, I don't know, no, it's called Underground, where you're trying to plant the secondary objective to blow up the gas chamber. If you die before you could plant that bomb, it doesn't really matter, because you're legit gonna spawn in like 5 seconds and be able to beat the rest of the other player's team that just killed you to that location. So you're gonna be at 100% health, he's gonna be weak already, so that's an easy kill right there. So that intense gunfight you had in there doesn't really matter, because you're gonna beat his teammates to that location, and your team, you're probably gonna spawn with like 2 or 3 other people, so you can easily rush that and take that location without a problem. So that's one of the reasons why it really affects competitive, because there's no intensity. And when people watch esports or any sports, they want intensity. They want, oh my god, he's really gonna do this, or oh my god, did he just really clutch this? There's not really that aspect of that element in Dirty Bomb. Another thing is, there's no really meta in Dirty Bomb. And when they first announced Dirty Bomb, I got really happy, because I thought it was gonna be like one of the first FPS to really have a really in-depth meta. But there's no meta in Dirty Bomb at all, because there's no economy. Like, you're not gonna buy weapons, you don't have to gain money, you don't have to like save or manage money at all. And the fact that you get 3 mercenaries defeat the purpose of having different mercenaries, because in Dirty Bomb right now there's only like 4 different types of mercenaries that you can click from, but you could pick 3 in one match. So really, you could you can pick 3 out of the 4 different types of mercenaries, and you're with 5 people in total as a team in Dirty Bomb. So basically, the types are medic, engineer, tank or data or whatever you want to call it, and support. So basically, like each one of your teammates could come with like a aura, soul bones, or sparks. Bushwhacker and proxy as the engineer. Fragger or Sawbones as like so tank, if you're playing like where escort, like where you have to escort a tank, bring Sawbones. If you're playing like where you have to plant, bring Fragger so you can nade the planting area. And then bring like 1 or 2 of your teammates, just have to bring like Vasily so he could support you with his heartbeat sensor, which could see through walls. So now you have support being able to see through walls, and you have a sniper. And the fact that you could do that with 3 different mercenaries, you could have like a full setup. You could have every single type of mercenary in that one match. So there's no really counter pinking because they're all gonna have the same thing. They're all gonna have a medic, engineer, and a tank, and 1 support at least. Now that kind of ruins the meta of the MOBA type aspect of Dirty Bomb. And another thing is the fact that each of those type of mercenaries play the exact same way. Like a medic, like Aura, or is gonna play the same way as a proxy, and proxy is gonna play the same way as a fragger. The only thing different is that they have different abilities that they use for different things. But when it comes down to it, Dirty Bomb is basically you're gonna play the same way. It's all about the movement. If you master the movement, being able to move side to side, double jump, get into different locations, and outmove your enemy, you're gonna win 90% of the gunfight because there's no Dirty Bomb isn't really an aspect of who has a better aim. It's basically who has the better movement, who can move better and more accurately than the other person. So if I'm able to double jump and do like 360s, jump over walls and crap like that, I have a better chance of winning that gunfight just because I can move to where I'm gonna go, and the other team had to really track me. Like the other player that I'm in that gunfight had to track me, and all I had to do was just spray and just like spray left and right because there's no recoil and there's no spread. So all my bullets are gonna go register. If it hits him, if my crosshair goes through him, he's gonna get hit. And that's kind of what kind of sucks about Dirty Bomb also, because there's different types of mercenaries, but they all play the exact same way, which defeats the purpose of having different classes. And now another aspect is the fact that sorry about that, the fact that there's no real challenge when it comes to getting good at Dirty Bomb. You only need to know the movement to become good at Dirty Bomb. For example, when you go to CSGO, you need to be able to aim good, have decent aim, have incredible control of the recoil. For example, like the AK, you have to really master that recoil to be good. You have to know your tactics, know how to save money. You need to have good economy, and need to understand the map. In Dirty Bomb, you don't really need aiming because all you have to do is just spray, and you're gonna get hit, and you're gonna get hits, and you don't have to like iron sight or anything because you're gonna hit fire from across the map and still get them. There's no need for like positioning in Dirty Bomb because there's no aim punch or anything. Like if you get shot, getting shot has no negative effect on you except for losing health. In CSGO, you get shot, your aim is getting fucked up, you're slower, you're a lot slower actually, and that affects you. In Dirty Bomb, you get shot, you're still the same speed. All you have to do is turn around, double jump around like crazy, and just spray, and you're gonna get the kill. And there's no economy in Dirty Bomb at all, and there is in CSGO. Like there's that meta type in there, and that's a skill involved too. And my map knowledge isn't really a factor in Dirty Bomb because there's like all the positions are pretty much easy to know where to go. Like there's no, you don't really have to like have crosshair placement, so that knowing the map and like the positions where you should be on a map in Dirty Bomb isn't really an aspect in that game because you don't have to have your crosshair position in a certain way because all you have to do is just double jump like crazy, have good movement, and get the kill. CSGO, that's a different story. You have to know where you're gonna put your crosshair. You need to know where they're coming from, how you're gonna get the headshot, and stuff like that. In Dirty Bomb, there's nothing like that, which kind of sucks. Now, another thing that hurts Dirty Bomb a lot, it's the fact that it's boring when you're watching it played competitively. Like when you watching the stream and like when they did the Dirty Cup, that wasn't really entertaining. Sorry about that. Stream, just because like there was no intensity. Like the fact that he just died doesn't really mean anything because he's gonna come back. The only intense part was when like they planted the bomb, but the fact that they all had engineers defeats the purpose of that being intense because they could legit defuse the bomb in like the last couple seconds and still be able to like continue the match. There's no real urgency. It's not like, oh my god, he just got killed, he had to defuse kid. No, they all have the engineer. They all died, but they all gonna spawn back together as a teammate and be able to push together. So that defeats the intensity. There's no intensity, and that's when people watching a sport or esport, they want intensity. They want like, oh my god, I can't believe he just did that. I can't believe he just clutched that. I Can't believe he just challenged that. Like there's not really anything like that in Dirty Bomb, just because of the fact that you could respawn and all you have to do is have movement. The guns are pretty much the same. You play each mercenary the same, so that kind of sucks. Another thing, which is one of the biggest things that affect Dirty Bomb, is that the fact that there's no support for competitive, even though the developers trying to support it, but they're not really going in all out on it. And what I mean by that, there's no official league. The competitive playlist in Dirty Bomb itself is like a joke. The matchmaking is terrible. You could be like the worst player going against the best player in Dirty Bomb in competitive, and that should never happen. That should never be the case. And the fact that if you are the best player, you rank up all the way to number 1 rank in competitive in Dirty Bomb, you get nothing from it. There's no reward from it. There's no point, because you're still gonna be able to play with the worst player. You're still gonna be matched with people that's not in your skill bracket, and like there's no point of being the best. Like for example, League of Legends, when you go all the way to Challenger, if you're like the top 10 or something like that, you get invited to like their tournaments. You could become a pro. Other teams could pick you up and notice you. There's nothing like that. There's no tournament at the end. Dirty Splash Damage isn't gonna put like $10,000 for you to play competitive, and whoever like the top 10 automatically get invited, and they become pros and they get pro points and stuff like that. There's none of that in Dirty Bomb, so that kind of affects it. Another thing is there's no league for competitive in Dirty Bomb at all. There was Dirty Cup and like 2 other websites, but they didn't work with each other. There was like no pro points or anything. It was just like basically tournaments that anybody could sign up. All you had to do was go in the forum, say I want to play, these are my people, and this is when I'm gonna play, and that's it. There wasn't no league. So that means anybody, any amateur player, any person, like I could just join Dirty Bomb like yesterday and then play competitively and be playing at a pro level, because it's not like invite only. You don't have to climb the ladder. It's just basically whoever is there saying that they want to play plays. So that's kind of affect the scene a lot, because there's no way to separate the pros and casuals and stuff like that. Another thing is the fact that Dirty Bomb is not a big game. There's at most like 5,000 people playing at a given time in Dirty Bomb, and that affects the fact that that affects other, like the aspect where other pros from other games like CS:GO or other amateur players from other games want to come and become a professional in Dirty Bomb. Like Dirty Bomb fails to attract amateur players and pro players from other games, which would have helped develop the scene a lot faster and a lot more, because they already know how competitive works. They already have structured. They will bring like structure into Dirty Bomb from another game, and there will like be more interaction, more. Their pro players will bring their fans into the game, which brings more people to play, brings the numbers back up, and might even bring up the stream views and stuff back up. But there's none of that. So what Dirty Bomb have to do is develop the competitive scene all by itself without any help from anybody else. This kind of sucks, because again, there's only like 5,000 people playing at a given time. So there's a lack of player. There's a lack of meta in the game, and there's a lack of a working matchmaking system, and there's a lack of structure, a competitive structure, or like a league system where you get points. When you get certain points, you become a pro. When you get invited to this tournament, there's a cash prize. Like there's a lack of everything for like the competitive scene in Dirty Bomb, and that kind of sucks, and that's gonna affect the overall life of the game, because if there's no competitive scene, there's a lot less people wanting to play a game that's not competitive at all. And the last thing is the fact that, let me think about it, because I just forgot what I was gonna say. And like I said, I'm doing this live. It's the fact that Dirty Bomb isn't really there when it comes to like a competitive scene. Like nobody really wants to play it competitively. There's no urge to play it. Like there's no, oh my god, I'm better than you, I just did this. Like everybody does everything the same. There's no split between casual and the competitive mode. There's no split in between it. You want to watch a sport, like I play baseball and I watch baseball because they play it at a different level. They play at a higher level. And it's enjoyable to watch somebody really skilled do something that you can't do. Like I can't throw a 110 mile per hour fastball. I can't throw 100 miles per hour fastball. I can't do that. But when I see somebody do that and able to strike somebody out like that, I think that's amazing, and that's like an aspect that Dirty Bomb doesn't have, because the casual players and the pro players or the competitive players basically do the same thing, same plays, and basically same skill level. The pro players might have better movement, might have slightly better aim, but at the same time, basically the same thing, because there's no real separation, which kind of suck. Like, I can hit a baseball, but I can't hit a freaking 100 miles per hour fastball from like Pedro Martinez in his fucking prime. I can't do that. So when I see somebody that could, I'm amazed. In Dirty Bomb, there's no amazement in the competitive side. There's not like, oh my god, I can't believe this guy just clutched this. So that kind of sucks. So pretty much that's it. That's the end of the commentary, the live commentary, or the one take commentary, whatever you want to call it. So if you like the video, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you dislike the video, rewatch it one more time. And if you don't like it again, dislike it, and just leave a comment saying why you didn't like it. So see you guys later, and hopefully you subscribe, and talk to you guys later.